Hello there, Capricorn, and welcome to your monthly reading. This is for the month of March, and a reminder that you can always use these readings for your sun, your rising, as well as your moon sign. If you don't know all three, just stick with the sign that you were born under, and that will give you the guidance that you need. Likewise, if you want to watch for someone that you love, you can also do that with these videos. With that being said, let me tell you a little bit about the format and then we'll get into the reading. Each month, I like to take a look at all of the energy for the month. I separate it into a few parts. I'll look at full Celtic cross this month, seeing all the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens, and then I expand it to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Now, I like to begin with channeled information. Before I get into that, I just want to say if you like what you see here and you would like to support me, you can stick around until the end and I'll show you how you can connect with me. I'll also put some information here at the bottom. I'm not going to go into too much detail now because I know you're anxious to hear your reading, so without any further delay, let's go ahead and get into that. Each month, I like to begin with channeled information. I do that by selecting a deck of cards for your sign, and then I meditate. When I meditate, anything can come through. Sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's a series of words, it might be an image, it might also be an empathic download. This month for you, it was primarily an image that I saw when I was meditating. As I closed my eyes, I had this beautiful picture of an evergreen tree. But what I was focusing on was the ability for that evergreen, much like its name, to persevere, to withstand any sort of storm, any sort of weather, any sort of challenge in its path. And also to really flourish in all environments. And that was what I wrote down when I was doing the channeled information. So I was making an allusion here to that evergreen, but really what this is about is your ability to persevere and not only to sort of like push through things, but also to grow and flourish in any sort of challenge or any sort of environment. It's another way of saying that you're flexible and that I see opportunities coming in the most unexpected places. Even if you think something is falling apart, it's just at that moment where you're still going to be the one that's standing and growing. And if you've ever looked out like in the Rocky Mountains or whatever, and you see all the snow, there'll be a lot of dead trees, but the evergreens, they're green all year, they're strong, they grow all year. And that's what I kind of see you as, is that very sturdy energy this month that can, even when things seem like they're overwhelming, overcome it and in fact flourish in that environment. So as we look at the cards this month, I want to look for opportunities for you to push through, to surprise yourself, to surprise others, and come out ahead, even if that wasn't what you thought was possible at that time. All right, I'm just about to shuffle the cards. I'm going to remain quiet at this point, lay everything out, and then I will pull the camera up and we'll talk card by card and break down what the month has in store for you. Your catalyst this month is a card that I associate with Emperor energy. In this particular oracle deck, it is the man, or just divine masculine energy. What's interesting about this is there is an air of being aloof with this card, or even a little bit of arrogance in this card. So what you want to be careful of in your life in general is if there's anyone around you that has sort of cut you off, or is, again, sort of doing this where they don't want to listen, it's really important for you to decide. Have you ever noticed, by the way, when someone does this, they close off their heart space, they don't let you in. So I want you to pay attention to body language, just like you see here, and try to find a different way to engage with that person, or pick a different time if that kind of energy comes up. Don't be afraid to call it out and say, I can tell that there's something that's bothering you. What's on your mind? I'd like to chat, but we first need to sort of clear up whatever you're bringing into this conversation. Are you okay? Because sometimes something's going on outside of your situation. Someone may be dealing with a loss, or might be suffering from some sort of sickness or illness that you're not aware of, and this could be kind of pulling their attention somewhere else. So either your focus or someone else's focus at the beginning of this month seems to be off a bit, And when we look at sort of the archetypal Emperor card, which in and of itself can be very stubborn, same thing with the Hierophant. Some of the divine masculine cards in tarot have this sense of being distant, of not being open. So what you want to try to do is find a way to open up someone's heart. The best way to do that is through being compassionate yourself, not through attacking them, not through trying to force them to see your point of view. So basically neutralizing things are really key for you this month, okay? So you have that divine energy within you to make things happen, because the Emperor is someone who can organize, who can rally forces, who can command attention. But you're first going to have to look at people around you and also your own energy and think, am I clear? Are they clear? Is there anything that's holding back the ability to communicate clearly and openly? Looking at all your cards, I actually think you're going to be very well adept at handling this, but let's talk card by card here. Your central card is the Ten of Cups. What a beautiful card at the center of your spread. This is showing that for many of you, where you're at the moment is in a state of feeling supported or focusing on love. Maybe there's a lot of family affairs and community things going on that are kind of taking up your time and energy. If it feels good, the general rule of thumb with the Ten of Cups is great, you're in good company. If you're feeling sort of claustrophobic, crowded, sometimes even loved to death by this energy, then it's time to kind of break free of that. It can be a very crowded room when you have that sort of energy, even if you're just with a roommate or somebody. So if it's feeling good and supportive, you're great. If you're feeling a little bit crowded or you're not able to get in touch with your own energy, that can also be what this card is. Because I do sense at the beginning, one partner, one person, or your own energy feeling like it needs to separate a little bit. So it's interesting that we have this very open, expansive, supportive card here. See what's going on. Do you just feel like you're not being recognized? Are you lost in the crowd? This kind of energy can come when there's so many stars, that you just sort of feel like you can't shine. That's not the case. You just have to sort of get back to what is it that is bringing you down or bringing you off your frequency so that you can get back into your power. The modifying card for this is the Eight of Pentacles. So some of you may just need some time to focus. This is a very solitary card. A lot of times when you see this energy, it's about reading a book, studying, going out and learning something, but it's a one-on-one card often. So you may be seeking the energy of a teacher, a mentor, a counselor, someone in your life that can support you and hear you. That's absolutely perfect. And if you want to do that, go for it this month. The other thing is, don't be afraid to write your thoughts out. Maybe if you can't communicate it to someone, if they're not listening when you're talking, you could try written communication and see if that is a little bit easier for them. The other thing with this is it's a great month to just learn. So if you've been thinking of going back to school, getting a certification, or just reading because you want to expand your consciousness and your mind, that energy is really supportive this month. It's also showing that for those of you that are feeling inspired by larger groups, you might like to take a group class or some sort of a retreat. And this is a way you could also find friends and love. So a lot of different things to decompress there, and it really depends on what your personality type is. As we look at deep past, I feel like some of you have already overcome this feeling of being stagnant or stuck. This could have meant that for many of you might have made a recent move, broken up with somebody, or decided that it's time to sort of change things. I think many of you may have changed jobs as well, or you're getting ready to make that move, because in recent past here we have the Wheel of Fortune. For me, that shows energy shifting into a different sort of annual cycle, but it also indicates career, work, and money changes, shifting for the better, by the way. So we have some really good cards with money. We have the Eight of Pentacles crossing the center, showing that there was power and opportunity among the people around you. We have the Wheel of Fortune in recent past, and then in your ego we have the Ten of Pentacles. I'm not overly concerned about your money this month. I think it's really a choice for you of how you want to access that, but I see a lot of resources flowing in. Your crowning card is the Ace of Cups. This is a great month to find love or to go deeper into a love or friendship opportunity. So with this, as I said, the way to neutralize energy where people aren't open is to keep that heart space open. Eventually, it's sort of infectious. They can't help but open up if you continue to be sort of loving and caring, and this can be what will open up that energy. But for yourself, if you're feeling blocked, the way to get unblocked is to go back into your passion, into what you love. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be in love with someone. It means that you're working, living, breathing your passion. So this, as we look at if we pull the camera down, this is sort of like your central focus here. Even though we have the 10 of Cups here, this is what's organizing everything around it. So make sure you feel that sense of joy and passion. It's going to attract positive situations in your life. Maybe it's time to step away from some things in your life that no longer work. Again, I'm getting a connection for many of you with an old job, an old routine, maybe an old way of investing or spending. Your resources sort of need a reset. And so if that's the case, great. Remember that you don't need to do everything that you used to do. Sometimes we sort of stay in a template that we picked when we were, 15 or something like that. And by the time we're like 35, that may not fit anymore, or 25 or 55, wherever you are in your life. It's okay to sort of reinvent yourself. And it's interesting that the number 7 is on this because in my own life, I've even noticed cycles of 7, cycles of 9. It's not always the even ones that we see in tarot. It's those uneven ones where you're going to notice a lot of that change happening. For you, this is a month to figure out where is that equilibrium and what's worth your time and energy. Where do you want to flex some of that sort of passion that you have? Don't fight unnecessarily with someone, especially if they aren't listening. I believe that anything in your life where you have to work too hard, where you're constantly sort of hitting a brick wall, particularly with people, that's a sign that it's time to go in another direction because it's not worth it. They're not open, they're not receptive. So if you try, you keep an open heart and it still doesn't work, move, do something else. Sort of focus that energy. Because when I'm looking at the ego this month, wow, you have some great opportunities coming through. You have 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles. When you couple these two natural partnership cards with the Lovers in the environment, what I'm seeing this month is sort of an unparalleled opportunity for you to really get a group of people engaged around you. So if you are someone who has been wanting to make a difference in the world, in politics, in your life, in a nonprofit, or again, just trying to find people around you that are connecting to you, I see so many openings here, including the Ace of Cups. This is a really good people month for you. The interesting thing for many of you, though, is that it feels like you're looking past what's around you. So I'd like for you to just not discount an opportunity, a person, a relationship, a situation that feels so familiar that you may not think that, oh, this is worth my time. Sometimes we kind of forget to be present. And with the Two of Wands, there's both the understanding, and this is, by the way, in your opportunity space, that you're always looking at the other side. The grass is always greener. So I want you to take a little bit of time to sort of be grateful for what you have. Look at people around you. There could be someone pining after you or wanting your attention. And you need to sort of figure out what you want to do with that. Once you've done that, it looks like the bulk of your energy wants to go a little bit more private or introspective. We have the Sun card in reverse, which instead of putting energy out is about consuming or again, sort of like learning things. And so when we combine it, I really do think that this is more about introspection, learning, and analysis. And it feels like a lot of you want to go there. And for some of you, there may be a desire for you to be seen in a different light. And in order to do that, there's some work that has to happen internally first. And this could be kind of paying of dues. If you're in a company or a job situation where they're not willing or ready to sort of put you to the next level, some of it might just be about time that you need to spend there because of, seniority of someone else. It's just, again, paying dues. For the rest of you, it might be an internalization that the changes happen. Once you believe it, people can then sort of sense it and see it on an energetic level. So it is important that you pull back a little bit from some of these groups of people that want to kind of come in, but it's also important to find a balance on sort of spending time with people that are important and figuring out if there's something that you're missing in your environment, because with so many people and so many resource cards rushing in, you could miss something, and I want you to be aware and not always focusing about basically like what's next on your list, okay? Let's expand your forecast, look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, and see what additional information comes through for you. We'll start first with your health card. Health is not just your body, but it's also how you feel, what your energy looks like, your chakras, etc. So let's see what the message is this month for health. Guess what? We got the Solitude card. So this Sun card in reverse, this sort of lonely Eight of Pentacles card, it's also speaking to what's coming through for health. And it says, in silence, peace prevails. So I came from a very small family, but it looks like some of you either work in a big company or live in a very large family or have a community that maybe it could be a small community, but it feels like it's sort of encroaching in on you. So give yourself the time that you need to meditate, to sort things out. And the interesting thing with all of these voices, all of this energy of community around you is, if there's something that you're trying to do that is extraordinary, that bucks that trend, that somehow doesn't fit into the predetermined role that people want you to match up to, then of course it's going to feel sort of contradictory, like, yeah, I've got all this love around me, but nobody really sees me. Nobody's understanding who I am. So now I'm starting to understand why some of you might be retreating from that group. Even though there's a lot of love, it may not be unconditional love. It may be very sort of based on, I'll love you if you do this. And that's a very big red flag. If someone is doing that, whether they're blood or marriage or friend, then you know at that point that they simply aren't there to support you, that the love is very conditional, it's very defined, and that can be sort of suffocating. I will say this, if you're feeling depression, because this can also explain the sort of contradictory cards of showing all these people but feeling alone or lonely, then reach out to someone and talk, and know that that's a sign of strength. It's necessary, and it's very normal for people at any point in their life to sometimes feel a sense of being alone. But if it prevails, if it's constantly sort of sticking with you, then it's time for you to talk to somebody, and that's what this card is reminding you. All right, let's look now at your wealth card, which is going to show opportunities, not just in money, but also big life and developmental opportunities. So we have indigo and crystal children. It's really showing the bond that you have with children, but for me, this can be also a connection or an illusion or a nod to the Six of Cups. So in your wealth sector, some of you may be at a point where you are thinking, like, how can I go back to school? You might be surrounding yourself with that youth energy, or you might want to write a curriculum. The Sun card has to do with children, particularly young children. So if this is something that you're interested in, teaching, healing, helping, working with young children, then that's an area that you can focus some of your energy this month. But for the rest of us that are sort of older, not looking for children, trying to wonder what does this have to do with me, this is about going back to your inner child. What did you think about as a kid when you first thought of like what your job was going to be when you grew up? Maybe it was, maybe you were very much a dreamer and you thought, I'm going to be like Wonder Woman or Superman. But once you get past that, what was it? Was it something that your parents and your friends and your family laughed at? I know I had a lot when I was a kid where the family was like, oh, you can't do that. People will laugh at you. Now look what I'm doing. So I obviously didn't listen to that as an adult, but as a kid, it hurts when you have a dream, whatever it is. Maybe you're a boy and you want to dance ballet, or maybe you're a girl and you want to wrestle. Whatever it is, you're going counter to gender and political and other stereotypes. Who cares? Go back to that and embrace what it was when you were a little kid that made you feel alive and made you feel inspired. And guess what? The adults were wrong. And no one's going to, even if they do laugh at you, it's what your heart says is right. And I was recently watching, I hadn't seen it in years, but Billy Elliot, great movie, great actor, great sort of story there. And I think that we all have the ability to sort of shift through something, but we sometimes don't have the support that he had as a kid. And so you're getting support from me now, and hopefully you can find that strength within. We got to go back to our inner child, the little boys and girls in our past, whether it's our brothers, our sisters, or ourselves, and we need to nurture that energy and remind ourselves that we can be who we want to be. It's safe now to be there. And when you heal that child, the adult is healed as well, okay? So for some of you, there's some work to do there, and maybe understanding that the career, the life, the choices that you've made right now weren't necessarily your own. They might have been mom, dad, brother, sister, uncle. And it's okay to go back to school, to reinvent yourself, to do something completely unusual. I keep reinventing myself. I walked away from a corporate career. I'm super happy doing what I'm doing. I like writing, I like reading, I like helping people. So find the path that works for you, stick with it, and the heck with all those people that said you couldn't or you shouldn't. They're probably not happy themselves. So listen to your heart. Your heart won't lead you astray. All right, we looked at health, we looked at wealth. Let's look now at love, knowing that love is not simply about romantic relationships. It's about what's going on with your heart space, your heart chakra. Do you feel loved? Are you open to giving and receiving it in your life? So we have perseverance here. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Very close to the message that I got here, that you can flourish, that you are evergreen. The card was reversed, and so I want you to know that whatever it is you're trying to accomplish personally, don't give up. And once you love yourself and achieve that goal, that's when external love comes in. It has to happen here first, then everything else falls into place. It's not so much about others. I mean, I constantly bring that up. Even though you have a lot of love and support, I feel like some of you have to do the work internally and love yourself and love what you're doing and put the passion in all those spaces, because it already is around you. And people, once they see that you're happy and that you're happy with yourself, then if they can't be happy for you, you know that that's where they fall in your life. They weren't really ever an advocate. So it's a great litmus test, and it's a great way to reveal who's your friend and who's not. But don't give up. If you're trying to make it work in a relationship, this card is saying stick with it. If you're trying to be independent and break free from a relationship, this is saying stick with it. It's about what you feel and what you desire that's important. Don't give up on it yet. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at your Destiny card. Destiny is a GPS that allows you to see where you're headed, but it's not set in stone. This is very malleable. You have a chance to affect it, to change it, to move the needle if you want to. So we have the Shadow Queen. It says acquiring knowledge, basically working past insecurity and overcoming manipulation here. So for some of you this month, this is about dealing with the past, with some of the shadows from the past. And there may be these sort of elements in your own personality or people around you that you need to work past. Whenever we have shadow energy come into our life, it doesn't mean that we're bad or that people are bad around us. It means that it's coming in to teach us a lesson. So if you feel insecure, if you feel like you are trying to control a situation for the wrong reasons, look at the triggers why that is happening or why those feelings are happening inside you. If someone around you is doing it, rather than putting them in a category and thinking they're a bad person, look at them and think, well, what is it maybe in their history or pattern-wise? Why does this keep coming up for that person, and try to understand it. The important thing, though, with this is, and I do believe that this is the key, acquiring knowledge is the first one, and that's basically how you can overcome the shadows. Ignorance, fear, frustration, doubt. A lot of times these come through when you don't have the full picture, when you don't have all of the information. So the best way to overcome those shadows is by learning more, by opening up your mind, and by basically absorbing as much as possible. That acquisition of knowledge can lead to insight, which then allows you to see the bright side of things, okay? Let's go ahead and review all of the information, and then we'll wrap up this reading. As I said at the beginning, your channeled information is that you can overcome anything in your path. You can flourish. Your energy is evergreen. And I see that here. There's a lot of really positive energy here, but there's a need for you to push through. And I'm thinking of sort of like, maybe a small sapling pushing through the snow or the ground. There's a need for you to kind of overcome this perceived barrier, because you have everything that you need at your disposal to grow, but there's some stuff internally that needs to shift first. For some of you, you haven't had the support that you needed, or you might have someone in your life that just refuses to listen to you. How frustrating is that, by the way, when that happens? It's sort of like you just want to scream because there's no way to have that person listen. As I said earlier, in this case, it may not be worth the fight, especially if someone just refuses to open their heart space to you. Let's pull the camera down. There was a lot now that I understand here that had to do with love, relationships, and people around you. You have the 10 of Cups in the center, the 10 of Pentacles in the ego, the Lovers in the environment, the Ace of Cups in the crowning position. And for me, that's love, love, and more love. But it also can be so much sort of energy around you that it strangles out your ability to be yourself. And one of the first things that I picked up on was maybe that you wanted to retreat a little bit, and there is very much a gentle hermiting energy in the Eight of Pentacles and the Sun card. It definitely came through in your health card as well. So if you need to retreat from some of this to figure out what's important to you to get back to your heart's desire, don't be afraid to do that. So with the Ten of Cups at the center and then the Eight of Pentacles here, remembering that sometimes working with written communication can be key. It also might be something you're interested in doing, either writing, reading, or studying this month. There's a lot of positive motion with your finances this month. We have both the Eight of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune looking really good, as well as the Ten of Pentacles. So I'm not worried so much about your resources. It's really a question of how you want to spend your time and energy this month. I think that's the key thing. And if you're looking for love, you're looking for relationships, I see a lot of opportunities. Don't be afraid to go out with friends or to family engagements. You might meet someone at work. If you're already in a love relationship, the question here is how much time and energy do you want to put into that? Because there are a lot of other things sort of vying for your attention. So it's all about balance this month. Remember again to sort of take a bird's eye view and appreciate everything that's going on in your life. That solitude, that time alone is, I think, what's going to give you a chance to figure out if you're really just happy or you're running from all of these things and trying to get, trying to get your own personality or your own identity etched out. And if you are, that makes sense. Both your environment and your outcome cards speak to the power of healing your past. For some of you, there might have been something that didn't go right in the past. You might have lost a part of yourself, and that's what the Death card can indicate. You might have felt like your inner child just got stunted, didn't get a chance to grow up. And this could be because of, someone that you loved. It could be a parent. It doesn't have to be a lover here because we have so many cards showing family. And in this case, writing this down, kind of pushing this out in some form and channeling it would be very effective. Some of you might find a way of making money by helping children. It could be being a teacher, going into writing a curriculum, being a child psychologist, a doctor or something. Just spending time with your children could also be the investment that you want to make here, because this is in your resource area, so resource can just be time. Just know that there's something powerful and important to look at in either the child in your life, your childhood, or somehow working with children. Looking at your love situation, keep working on yourself, keep working in the relationships that make sense in your life, and let go of the ones where there's this sense of someone being closed off. Understand that shadow energy that's presenting itself is there to teach you. It's never there to sort of punish. It's always there to help you release something and come through brighter, lighter, and more in the know, if you will. So that brings your monthly reading to a close. I do hope you got the information that you needed to navigate all of the challenges that are coming through for you and all of the opportunities, more importantly. If you're ever at a point where you just want to discuss something that is happening in your life, a big decision, a big opportunity that's in front of you and you want some advice, I am here to assist with things like that. If you look at the first link below the video and the first card embedded, you can see a way to check my rates and availability on my website. If you'd simply like to say thank you because you enjoyed what you saw here, a great way to do that is by joining me on Patreon, or you can do a one-time donation through my website. The second card and the second link below the video will allow you to connect there and know that something as small as $1, it may be symbolic to you, but it makes a big difference to me. It helps me set up the time that I need to do these. It helps me buy supplies. And again, it sort of helps even out the energy exchange. So if you would like to do that, from the bottom of my heart, I'm very appreciative, and that second link will allow you to do that. The third way to give back, and it doesn't require any money and hardly any effort, is simply to join me on social media and to like, subscribe, and possibly to share this if you really liked it. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I also have a newsletter, so all of that information will go here at the bottom. And then the third link there will allow you to connect on my website to all of those different platforms. But it really just means a lot, again, if you don't have a lot of time and you just want to help me on a very small level, to share this on your social media, because that'll help me spread the word. And that brings me to the end of this, which is, why am I here every month? I really like to end with gratitude, because I'm so grateful and humbled by the fact that you guys allowed me to talk for about a half an hour and give you some advice. And I really do hope that it gives you that sense of empowerment and allows your energy to open up, allows your heart space to open up. This month, your big thing that you can really do is release a pain from the past. For some of you, there might be something in the childhood that needs to be healed. Once you do that, love wants to pour in. Love from new people in your life that can see you with that unconditional acceptance for whatever it is that you want to be. But you do need some time this month to take care of yourself. Work on your own goals, your own dreams, your own healing. Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Know that as you do this, your energy lights up. And I like to sort of, if you've ever done a Google search and you've looked at the planet at nighttime, you can see all these little lights for all the cities. You guys are lighting up the globe just like that. And I can't wait until this whole earth is shining much brighter than it is right now. As we continue to do work on ourselves, we're doing that day by day, person by person, video by video. So with that in mind, thank you so much. I'll see you again next month, and it's been my honor to be here. All right, bye-bye.